Welcome to the Mr. Universe Meets podcast, in association with the Mansformation Programme. Now, the Mansformation Programme is a 12-week programme for men that want to level up their training, nutrition, lifestyle and mindset so that they can live in a body that looks great, feels great and has unstoppable energy. On this podcast, we're going to be speaking to athletes that have reached the top of their game to understand their mindset, habits and routines and what makes them elite. I want you to take advantage of the lessons they teach and go and smash your own goals. I would love it if you guys would like, share and subscribe and enjoy the podcast. All right, so today on the podcast, we have got the loose cannon, Luke Atkin. Luke is a bare knuckle world champion and he has lived an extraordinary life. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this story, mate. So can you kind of take us back to the start?
Yeah.
You know, I think that your dad started training when you were 5 years old and it kind of just went from there. So if you want to start us at that point, mate.
We lived in a house down Fifth Avenue in Knuckle, York. We moved there. My dad was a bouncer on the doors in York, and he had like an old punch bag which he literally screwed to the joists of the ceiling. He used to have just hung in his bedroom. And he used to just work the bag every day. Obviously, being a doorman back then, it was different to what it is back now. That compared to now, you know, you had to look after yourself. You had to be able to throw a punch or whatever. Do you know? Compared to how it is now, you know, rules, regulations.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You lose your license, you know. So, he used to work every day, and I used to watch him. It was more of a good kickboxer, my dad, more than now. But he has, and he still has, what's he now, 50, 53, 54, still got very fast hands, which I think I've sort of inherited from so like I'm lucky with that. I learned off him, watched him, you know, let him work it, and then obviously when he finished, I'd have a little go and stuff, and I think what he said to me, like, everything what he did, he would, like, you know, just take a little glance and see I was doing it or trying to do it myself. So then, like, maybe once or twice a week, he would teach me little bits. Only like your basics, bit of footwork, bit of head movement, and, you know, like your basics, your 1-2s, your jabs. And I picked it up very quick. My dad said, you know, you just picked up. Even my daughter now, for me, I show my daughter and she's just like a sponge. I think you are at that age, do you know?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I picked it up quick. And then after a bit, at the age of about 7, 8, he took me to a gym which is shut now in York, which was called K&B in North Street. And that's where I like really got chucked into the deep end with it. I think about my first or second session, I was going on crying, I'm never fighting again, I'm never going back to boxing. And my dad's like, you are. Not like nastily, like, you know, you'll thank me for it later. So you go back, just keep going, keep trying. So I went back, and then after a bit, I start, you know, the kids that was beating me up, I started getting even with them or the better of them. Do you know, there was like an older lot, and like there was my age, you know. And I think my dad just wanted, you know, the best chance for his son, which anybody would. Do you know,
course,
like,
yeah,
and he heard about a gym in Hull called St. Paul's ABC. I think there was a lad at the time, I can't remember his name, and I really can't, going down there. And he arranged with his dad for me to go down there. So I've gone from learning, you know, in my dad's bedroom to being half decent, you know, in a York gym, then going to a gym in Hull, St. Paul's ABC.
How old were you when you went up to Hull?
It was before I started competing, so I'd say, I don't know, say about 9, 10 year old.
Yeah.
Same, I got my fucking ass handed to me. Every night I'd spar and get fucking beat up, like, because I lived not like in a, like, so I'm going to put this. It wasn't the real world like I was living in. Like I was sparring against kids that maybe wasn't as good as me at the time. And back then, my idol was Nassim Hamid, Prince Nassim. So I've gone to St. Paul's, which is an upright, proper, strict amateur boxing gym, you know, fast points, very fast scoring points. And I've walked in like Naz, thinking I was Naz, and I just got my ass handed to me. Day after day, night after night, crying, I'm not fucking going back there again. And lo and behold, I'll be back there. You know, my dad's like, you're going back, you're going to learn it, you know. So I went back, I like basically got pulled apart, as in like all my bad habits, all this Nassim style, just got
showboating
off. Didn't mean now, it didn't do nothing. I just got my ass handed to me every night. So I started realising actually like maybe I should start fighting like them, because they're knocking fuck out me. So it must, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. So my dad started training me as well, you know, like doing extra bits me at home. We just bought a pair of pads and this and that and started doing little bits me at home as well.
So how many times were you going to Hull then?
I'd say 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
An hour drive. It'll basically be get home from school, have a little bit of tea, not too much so I didn't get a stitch. Jump in the car with either my mum or my dad. Hour to Hull, hour train, hour back. 3 times a week. That was dedication from my mum and dad.
Absolutely, yeah. Very supportive.
Yeah, very, very supportive. It was either my mum or my dad.
And you went to Hull because what? That was a better standard of gym that you could train at?
Still is one of the best gyms in the country.
Okay.
For producing top amateurs. It's produced, you know, like Luke Campbell, Olympic gold medalist, Tommy Coyle, another, you know, like world level fighter. There's some really good kids that have come out of that gym. And I don't care. Anybody will stand in this room who knows about boxing, who's maybe in the amateur game, pro game. That gym is recognised as a good gym. Simple as that.
Yeah.
At the time, we didn't know how good it was. We just knew that, without being disrespectful, there wasn't a great deal left for me in York. If I would have stayed in York, I maybe would have just stayed at one level. And basically, my dad just thought, just chuck him in at deep end and see what happens. You know, that's the best thing you can do. It was a tough love, a very tough love. So I went out there, and I'd love to say that I ended up one at best in there, but I'd be probably talking shit. I ended up being able to hold my own, if you know what I mean. I wasn't going on crying no more.
Yeah.
Do you know, I was going home sometimes happy, sometimes, yeah, right, so we need to work on this and stuff. And, you know, or my mum would be there and she'd bring me that, yeah, you done really well tonight, stuff like that. And then from the age of... No, so as that was going on, Mike Bromby, who was still the head coach there, said to me, Dad, you know, like, you come through every night, you sometimes help out lads on pads, like, why don't you take a coaching course, like assistant coaching course sort of thing. So my dad was like, he said, son, I'm only doing this to better you. Like, if I can give you any extra chance in life, in the boxing ring, it's going to be like to do stuff, anything like that, I'll do it. So he got his assistant coaching course. So I had my dad booked my own personal coach living in the next bedroom to me, you know. So yeah, I started holding my own in the sparring. We started getting, you know, Mike, the coach, was getting happy with me as well. And we decided to, age of 11, because that's when I could start competing, fighting, to get me my first fight. So
you represented that whole gym. That's when you first did your
I represented St. Paul's from 11 to 18.
Okay.
On the amateur scene.
And that led to you actually representing England as well?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
So basically, one time I went to, it was called the Copenhagen Box Cup.
Yeah.
And there was a team of us that went over. And we trained very hard for it. It was a really tough camp. There was me, I think Luke Campbell was there, Tommy Coyle, was a load of us that went over. It was the first time like a British team had gone over, and we thought like there was the best out of like Denmark, Norway, Sweden, all your number ones there. and I fought a Danish number one, and I beat him on points. I managed to get a gold medal out there.
Fantastic, yeah.
And the other one was Holland. Went out into Holland. That was it. We all went out again to Holland. It was before the Denmark one. I went out to Holland and managed to get the win there as well.
So how did that feel, taking gold medals? Obviously, you a teenager by that point?
Yeah, about 15. Yeah, it was. It was different. It was because my dad couldn't make that one for some reason. I can't remember. I cannot remember why. My dad could not make the Denmark one. He trained me for it all the way up to it. I don't know, maybe, they could only have so many people there. I don't know. But so my dad built me a gym down in the bottom of his garden. One bag, one speed bag, and just enough room for one man and one trainer to pad. And he built me that gym, and it had a sink just for water. That was it. And he built me that gym just for me, and he trained me in that gym for that competition. And then I went away. I can remember phoning him saying, "His son's a champion," and he was crying his eyes out and everything else. And to think that we did it in that little shed, because we were still going through to St. Paul for the sparring, but we actually all the sessions, everything, we did it in that little shed.
A lot of the groundwork in there.
Yeah, all of it, most of it was in that little shed. All the, the mistakes that I could have made that we ironed out, hours and hours and hours. Training with one arm strapped to my thing because this arm kept dropping, and was using this for hours and hours and hours. Blisters on my feet from the footwork drills.
So your dad's put a lot of time and effort into helping you get to the level that you were at.
1,000,000%. Yeah, he put his life into me. His life into me. He really did. Yeah, bless him. Yeah.
And you've also got like the you also, I think it was a bit before Copenhagen, but you went to the ABA Nationals, didn't you? And you got to the semis. Is that where you fought Amir Khan?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So what was he like back then? Was he? You could see he was a class above at that point.
They chucked me in there as just an experience thing. Just chuck him in there. It's his first time in. He's probably not going to do any good, but do you know what? It's a bit of experience. That's what I was saying to my dad. My dad was like, "Yeah, whatever, just chuck him in." But my dad was like, "You get in there and you fucking give him it. You show him. You show him. You show him." So won the Yorkshire finals. Yeah. Won that. So it was like, fucking hell, well done. Went to to North East counties. Got to finals of that. Won that. And I can remember Mike saying to my dad, he shouldn't be getting this far. This ain't possible. I don't know, whatever he's doing, sound. But then we went to Liverpool, and my uncle Mally, who was from Liverpool, he's an ex-PT in the army. He knows all that amateur scene. And he didn't tell me, but told me dad, he said, "Listen, this kid is a good kid." I'd only had maybe, I don't know, I think minimum you can have is maybe 4 or 5, and I'd had maybe just the minimum, including the fights what I'd just won.
Yeah.
And he had 18, 19 fights or whatever, so it was a mismatch. But my dad said, "What do I do? Do I tell him so he shits himself, or do I tell him so he gets riled up, or do I not tell him and just see what it is?"
Let you do your own thing.
Let me do a thing. All I could say to me is this kid's a really good kid. He's a really good kid. He's got a lot of experience. Just give him it. Give him everything you've got, son, and it doesn't matter what the fuck he gets. Just give him it. So I give him the best I could. It was just another level fitness. I come out, I hit him with a left hook and I wobbled him straight away. I thought, fuck it, I'm onto him. And then he just got stronger and stronger and stronger in the later on in the round, and he got the win.
Yeah.
So it was the fitness he had. It was just another level. Where I was dying off, he was getting stronger.
Yeah, yeah.
It's unreal, fucking mental.
And why was that? Was he getting the extra coaching? Was he kind of like a bit of a prodigy over there?
Well, he was. Little did I know. After that, he was one of the most. At the time, he was one of the most hyped up amateur kids on the thing. He was in the England international team. Anyway, he was like the up and coming superstar. I didn't have a fucking clue he was. To me, he was just some kid that I was having a fight with. Do you know?
Yeah.
So, it was. It was a mismatch, but do you know what? Even if he said to me it's a mismatch, Luke, and he's got a load of fights, I still would have said, "Fuck it, I'm not. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to lose. All pressure on him, not me. Yeah. I'm not the superstar. He is.
Yeah.
So I would have still got in there anyway. Do you know what I mean?
That's been kind of your attitude right the way through.
All the way through my career. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's still now. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, and it sometimes it pays and sometimes it really fucking doesn't. You know, and you've got to, you know, do it like that.
Absolutely.
You know?
So obviously, like you say, you went toe to toe with Atkin, losing the nationals semi-finals. You won in Copenhagen. You won in Holland. At this sort of time, did you kind of, you know, did you start to dream about being making this as a pro career?
I wasn't asked.
Was you not?
Believe it or not, I knew I was going to go. Well, I knew I was going to go pro, but also on the flip side of that, I wanted to be up to no good. I wanted to hang about with all kids who were bad lads. I wanted to be this certain image where the boxing was just a part of my life anyway. Like, I've been doing it since a baby. I still train twice a day now. Do you know, even if I aren't fighting, I still train twice a day. I wanted to be this and that. And, you know, I still lived at home with my dad at this point, and then I moved out and met this girl and moved out of my house, and within fucking hell, 5 months I was in a lot of deep shit.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
So you had 18 years old. This is when you left St. Paul's. Was it? You had one more fight.
I was meant to go professional with St. Paul's.
Yeah.
In June 2006. In May 2006, I ended up with 5 years in prison.
Okay.
Just wrong crowd, stupid fucking choices, blah blah blah. Then basically it was, as soon as I left home, it was like a leash off me. I was fucking going wild, you know, doing mad shit and sort of thing. I wish I would have stayed at home with my dad.
Yeah,
I would have had a totally different life to what I'm living now. I know that, definitely.
Do you want to expand on that or not? You don't have to cut that bit.
No. That's, you know, from there I went down the wrong route. Ended up getting involved with a team of 2 other kids who was going around robbing grafters, dealers, everything else, robbing and blah blah. And we'd done well, you know, we'd got a few good touches, blah blah blah. And the other 2 kids, a lot older than me, were like, oh, that's it done now. And I was going, just one more, get this last one more. It was only one kid who was selling coke. We were going to just go grab him. And then that was it. That was the last one. I pushed for it. I'll tell you the truth. I pushed for that one more. And we walked in the party. We walked in the house to get this kid who was meant to be grafting, and they was having a fucking party. There was all dancing around with music on. There was pizzas cut into triangles, cakes, all dancing on the table. As I've walked in, I've looked with a ballet on. I had a balaclava and I thought, oh, fuck's sake. Like, I'm here now. They've all seen me now. They've all shit the senders stopped now. They've all sat them down now. Do you know? I thought, this is it. It's fucked. What can I do from here? From there, it just went worse and worse.
You ended up with 5 years for that. That's what 5 years for.
5 years imprisonment.
What was that? What was the charge on that?
Aggravated burglary.
Yeah.
The other 2, one of them, because he's been in and out loads, but not, he's still alive now, I think. Yeah, he'd been in and out loads. He got a IPP recommended sentence of 3.5 years. I think he ended up doing about 10 years.
Right.
And then the other one he got a 6 just because he was older than me.
Yeah.
He was like in his 20s and I'd only just turned 18.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when we like sort of.
Yeah. Do you ever think that, like, if you had have turned pro with St. Paul's and your life would have gone down that different path?
No, 100%.
Yeah.
You've got to think. I'd gone pro, would have had my coach living with me. You know, like, it would have been very strict, but it would have been exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Right about that time. I just never got to sign that fucking dotted line.
Yeah.
And in between that signing that line, and then, you know,
made that mistake. And,
fucked it, completely fucked it.
Yeah.
Broke my dad's heart. Proper broke his heart.
Yeah. So you did your 5 inside, or did what, 2.5? inside, was it?
5 to a full 2.5, yeah. I got offered Cat D, but I was that settled in now. I just said, oh, fuck you, Cat D. They offered me Cat D 6 months. 6 months before I got out. I'd done 2 years. They offered me Cat D like 6 months and said, oh, you can go home and visits after free. I was that settled. I said, fuck you, Cat D. You should have offered me ages ago. 18 months, not fucking 2 years. Yeah. So I stayed there and just done my full 2.5 inside. Yeah.
And then what was the situation then when you got out? Was it back to boxing? Was it, which way did you kind of go after that?
So basically, I went into prison. Heaviest I've ever been was welterweight, which was 10 stone 10. And I quickly found out that if you are a skinny little fucker and you don't look the part, when you're a young offender, you will become a target very quick. And once you become a target, life gets really hard for you.
Yeah.
So I got into a bit of I quickly went from 10 stone 10 to 13 stone in Hull jail while I was still on remand for my charge. And I got into a bit of a altercation and knocked the kid out. And quickly learned that once I knocked him out, then I did really get left then. People knew I had a bit of size about me. People was coming in from York and telling people that this kid boxed to me a can. And look, he just done business, just fucking broke someone's jaw and put his tooth. Hit him that hard, his tooth went through his top tooth and fucking got stuck. It travels fast. So I thought, fucking hell. So then from there, I went to Moreland's Young Offenders Prison. And it's just another fucking level again. So I've walked in, because basically said, anything over 4 years, you go into Moreland's. And I got a little piece of paper from me on it, said I was going to Dearbolt at the time, which is up north. I was absolutely buzzing. Thought, thank fuck for that. No Moreland's I've heard about. I don't want to go there, fucking this and that. They just got it wrong, got paperwork wrong. One morning, come on, Atkin, get your bags packed. So I'm off Dearbolt. No Moreland's. Now I'm off Dearbolt. When you're not, you're off Moreland's now. Get your bags packed. I thought, oh. So I've gone to Dearbolt, landed on wing, landed on reception wing or whatever, walked in the shower. There's one kid with a snooker ball and a sock in his boxers, another kid with a big fucking blade in his boxers, both getting a shower in the boxers. Do you think, what the fuck's going on here? So I was like, you know, lads, I think they were from Manchester, but I can't remember. I was like, right. Do you know, like, for fuck's sake, what the fuck have I walked into here? And then I realised again, the bigger you are, the more intimidating look, the more, you give that, you become that certain person, horrible little cunt, basically. You don't get bothered. So I did a lot of bang up at first because they were trying to get me, move. I was moving and doing, I was 23-hour bang up. And I was still trying to train and everything, and it turned out in Monday you only get 2 gym sessions a week. That's it. Because they didn't want the so Moreland's Young Offenders is where all your lifers goes, well, your young offender lifers. So I'm on the wing and there's a gangbanger from Birmingham that's blown someone's fucking head clean off the shoulders. Someone who stabbed someone fucking 100 odd times that wing over a fucking gang stuff. Dickhead has only just tied a party up, being in a party, do you know what I mean? So I'm thinking, what you gonna do now, Luke? Like, what do you do from here? So I managed to get a job in the kitchens, scrubbing pans, and all this lot, and I managed to build my way up. So when I was in the kitchens, I was looking, I was thinking, right, I'm going to have to get big. Well, I'm going to have to get big. Because all the big fuckers don't get bothered. Even if you're big and you're a muppet, you don't get bothered. I'm getting big. Simple as that. So I managed to be able to get to the eggs and stuff in the fucking fridge. So I was downing egg yolks, eating a kilo of porridge. I had Charlie Bronson's book. I was doing 1,000 press-ups a day. I had a bag. So I had a bag of magazines about this long. All lads in jail know about pad workouts. A net bag for curls and this and that. I managed to go from 10 stone 10 to 17.5 stone in 2.5 years. So I didn't get bothered. I was all right from that.
That was just eating like mad and training every day.
Training, Charlie Bronson workout, no days off, 1,000 press ups every day, and plus my gym as well. You know,
you got a couple of them a week, yeah. So when you came out there, you came out 17 stone. You came out a lot bigger than what you went in.
Yeah, quickly dropped down to 13 stone, straight into amateurs. Straight into amateur Yorkshire finals. I managed to get straight into amateur Yorkshire regionals. I went into finals. I dropped weight too quick. I've gone from 17.5 stone to 13 stone, dropped it too quick. Yeah. I was fucking weak as a kid. I got my fucking head punched in.
Where were you training then? Were you just training back in York?
I was training at York ABC.
Okay, yeah.
Under Billy Wilson and Isaac Bins, Atkin, sorry. And then, but it was nothing to do with them. It was the weight drop. It was too much.
Too much.
The coaching was immaculate. Billy Wilson is a fantastic fucking coach. Isaac Bins is a fantastic coach, condition, everything. It wasn't nothing to do with that. It was a bad day in office for me, but apart from that, it was the actual the weight cut. From 17.5 stone to 13 stone, it's a big drop, and it was a matter of months. It wasn't a year, it was a months, and I dropped it. I looked the fucking part, I looked ripped to death. Didn't mean fuck all when I've been against a kid who was naturally just walking about that weight. That's maybe the heaviest I've been, or probably he walks about 14 and drops down to 13.
So you had to go back to kind of the drawing board a little bit and say, where do you go from here then?
Yeah. Started selling drugs again. Well, I started selling drugs.
Yeah.
Well, I say again, I say again because I basically started getting in trouble again. Started carrying on like a dickhead again.
Yeah.
I quickly got a little intensive supply. Got caught with a bit of heroin and crack cocaine. Got 2 years. While I was wanted I got charged with it. They gave me I went on the run for about 2 or 3 months. And they managed to get me in the end. And they got me good. I basically tried jumping out of a window onto a shed roof and completely missed the fucking shed roof. And snapped me fucking ankle that bad that my toes was touching my shin. I can remember still trying to crawl off. And copper just coming around going, just stay there. Ambulance required. And I remember passing on. I was also really reliant on diazepam at that time. Just swallowing them, just to try to forget that I was going to jail. Only fucking, like I say, it wasn't a long sentence. I just didn't want to go. You know, weak-minded dickhead. Anyway, I remember coming round in the hospital, screaming with pain, and saying, "Oh, like, give me some, give me some, put me to sleep." And they're saying, "We can't retract you. You've had diazepam. We can't have nothing." And I can remember grabbing my foot. And I'm going, no. And I went, 3, 2, and I woke up on fucking wing, on ward, screwed to, chained to a prison officer. And it was all in pots and everything else. And I can remember seeing the CID officer that was was after me at the time, and I said, you took your time. And he grabbed my trainers and he said, what's off with my trainers? There's evidence. So from there, when I take your trainers, end up with prison trainers, which we call feeler cunts, because they're just like rock hard slippers. So then I've been chained to a screw. So I got chained to a screw from breaking my ankle. I had to wait for a week, chained to like prison officers who were doing shifts for a week. And then I had my operation, and then straight from my operation, they put me straight on the wing. They gave me that much tramadol that I was walking about off my head on my pot, and the screws go, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was going, "No, it's all right, I'm all right, I'm all right." And I want all right. They just I was just drugged out with my eyeballs, you know what I mean? So then I had to basically learn to walk again from there in the prison in Everthorpe jail. It was.
Right, okay. So you did your 1 year, 2 years? Did one?
2 to 1.
Yeah. And then back out again. Where did this take you now?
Back out again took me to unlicensed boxing.
Yeah.
My mate Glenn Banks, who I've been boxing with for years, he was he got hold of me, helped me out. I managed to have a few with them, managed to get a belt around my waist right quick. In that time we also applied for my professional licence, but they just weren't having none of it. They just didn't want me to go pro.
And that was because of the criminal record?
Criminal record, drug past, everything else. They just didn't want me. Just simple as that, you know.
Yeah.
Which is probably very understandable, you know. So,
how did that make you feel, thinking that you'd worked since you've been 5, really, and then obviously now you kind of come back out and you're hoping to kind of just get back on track?
Back onto that track. Good.
Yeah.
Good. And then I won everything I could win, really, in the unlicensed scene. And then sort of like we had my daughter to my ex. Had my daughter, and I was living with her. And believe it or not, I was getting a tattoo. This tattoo, shit, it's faded to death now. Adam Jones from York, who was doing my tattoo. And I was chatting about it, and I said, I want to do bare knuckle boxing. He said, I can get you into bare knuckle boxing. I said, yeah. He said, lad, I do tattoos. It's not with us no more. Call Mike Mason. He does bare knuckle boxing. Why did I speak to him? Spoke to him. They invited me to a show, and they asked me if I want to fight on it. I've been working with my mate, and I just turned up in my work gear, and they basically chucked me in there with a kid. I basically borrowed my mate's work gear, training gear, put them on, and I fucking put the kid out with a left hook, just annihilated him. I felt really sorry for him, and I really hurt the kid with gloves on. This was
okay.
16 also, but just dismantled his face really, and put him down and everything else. And then there was like, you know, like you can fight. Like, how do you feel about fighting bare knuckle, like in world bare knuckle world champion Jimmy Sweeney in 6 weeks? No one will fight him. I'll fight him. I said, yeah, too fucking right, I'll fight him. Yeah. I said, I want to do bare knuckle. What world champion? I said, get me him. I'll fight him. So we ended up in a club in Newcastle. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. So I will remember it. But yeah, it was a bit of a dingy fucker. And I trained really hard for it. Got my weight down, killed myself for it, and it lasted around. I thought he can box, I can box. But no, he's never fought anyone my calibre. Let's see what he does when he fights with my calibre. And he boxed me that well. He just split me and then targeted that split. Ended up with 12 stitches around my eye. Doctor had to stop it with bleeding in my eye.
Did you know much about him before you went into that fight? I mean, obviously 6 weeks before you didn't even know who he was, right? And then did you do any sort of like research him or?
You just knew he was a travelling lad who would have a load of bare knuckle. You know, and now his biggest name in bare knuckle boxing.
Okay.
You know, and still is.
Yeah.
You know.
Is he still going today?
Yeah, he's the best. He is one of the best, or if not the best, one of the best in the game, 100%.
Right. And what was he? What was he like as a fighter? He was obviously just so.
His timing's
composed.
impeccable.
Yeah.
His timing's impeccable. You can throw whatever you want at him. He will get out of the way, and once you've finished, he will deal with millimeters and counter. But when he counters good, and then he will work on that counter every single time till he opens you up.
Yeah.
Very good. His timing's impeccable.
Yeah.
I will say that.
My name's Colin Wiseman. I'm on week 11 of the Transformation Programme with Stuart Garrington. Been tough, but it's the good type of tough that when you realise all your mistakes for the previous year of eating too much and drinking too much.
I'd just say whatever your goals are, it gets you there. I set out with this as a 12-week programme, and like I say, I plateaued for 10 months, and within 3 weeks, I'd beat my expectations.
I've had to have surgery during the programme, but we've not changed anything. We've just changed the programming slightly. It's been great all the way through it, so yeah, I'd recommend him 100%.
It's one of these things, I think, if you give it a chance and have a bit of self-discipline, I'm into the 5th week now, and I literally feel the best I have done in years, to be honest.
So you've gone from watching a show to be thrown in straight at the deep end to saying we fight the guy that nobody wants to fight. You obviously took that loss there.
Yeah.
did this put you off, or did this just make you hungry for more, thinking that, well, I've taken on the best that there is?
Yeah, I can remember after that I was driving home and I had my little girl's mum and she was crying upset and I was like, are you alright? I was like, what a fucking rush that. What a fucking buzz that. Get me another fight quick. And she's like, what? Bearing in mind, my eyelid was fucking in my eye. I'm going to got to stick it to C and it's going back down and stick it to C, do you know what I mean? And she's like, what? I said, get me another one of them. I need another one of them. So basically, that was it then. I was fucking...
Hooked on bare knuckle
boxing.
Yeah.
Everybody told me to stop. When I got beat, everybody laughed. Everybody told me to stop. Bare knuckle's your game. You're not tough enough for it. Blah, blah, blah. But I knew I was. I just threw myself in the deep end too much with that certain person. Do you know what I mean? He's a good kid. He fucking still is. Still is. Do you know what I mean? If you were sat in our tea, you are the fucking one of the best, mate. Shake me hand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, went from there. Yeah, so from there, what happened from there? A load of shit happened from there. So basically, we had a bad breakup, me and my ex, my daughter's mum. And I was really bad on, I was taking all sorts of drugs and loads of diazepam. And I basically went to the doctor and said, look, listen, I'm taking this. And what'll happen now? I'm just going to stop. What'll happen if I stop? The nurse went, you'll die. I said, I'll die. She said, you'll die. She said, all your organs will go into shock and fail and you will die. She said, you've got to reduce. You have to reduce, Luke. I said, all right. So at this time, my ex had got a restraining order on me, see my daughter and stuff. Me like a dickhead, not, I'll see my daughter now. No, you won't. There goes your restraining order. Bye. 20-week do 10 in jail. So I got out, done the 20-week do 10 jail, and it was fucking horrendous. All them drugs what I've been taking, having to come off them, cold turkey, no reduction plan like nurses said, you're going to die, basically in a pad, sweating out, shivering, spewing, it was horrendous.
Like that scene off Trainspotting.
Worse. So like I was speaking to heroin addicts, and they're going, what are you doing? I was saying diazepam. And these heroin addicts are going, whoa, I want like to fucking do one of them. It's all right, it's only a week and you're in and out. It's 8 weeks for you. I said, 8 weeks? I said, 8 weeks for you. I did 10 and I was still fucked when I got out. So I got out and I was, you just don't feel right. You're just something not right. We got basically, it went to court. My ex didn't turn up, so they let me out. So I got out. Went to doctors. She said, where have you been? I said, I've been in prison. She's like, right, okay. So how's the reduction plan going? I said, there hasn't been one. She went, what, are you still taking them? I said, no. I said, so I told her what happened in jail. Basically, we can go to jail. Don't matter what you're on, you're just not doing it. There's no reduction plans, there's nothing, just get on with it. Cold turkey, get on with it, that's all it is.
So there are medics in there that say that you should have been a reduction plan, or...
I told her.
Yeah.
Told her, and she was like, yeah, good luck with that. All we've got in here is what fucking heroin addicts take? Not morphine. It's something like that jungle juice, that green shit, what they take, I can't remember what it's fucking called. Methadone.
Okay.
All we've got is that. I thought, I had to get that, so I was just going reversing that, and no one ever fucking got on that road. Like, right, all right. So I told her, she went, well, she looked at me, she went, well, I'm surprised. I'm surprised I'm looking at you. You should be dead. I was like, well, I am. So, but can I have some tests because I don't feel right? Lo and behold, my kidneys were failing. They'd got dropped down to about 70% from 100. They ring me to drink loads of water, blah, blah, blah. I was fighting for a bloke, and he wasn't having none of it. I was saying, mate, my kidneys are failing, I can't fight. And he's saying, trying to get my fights lined up, and if you go anywhere else, like, we will fucking sue you and all this shit. And I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm in the right predicament. And then he changed his name from something like CMS Promotions to Knuckle Promotions. I thought, that's my way out. It's changed name of thing, contracts for you, that's it, done. So I rang him and I said, it's done, and he went, yeah, but believe me, I will get you there. I said, sound. So then I went with so they're called BKB now, but back in the day they was called UB-Bad. And I started fighting for them. So another fuck up. So basically from there, they got me a fight lined up in Wales, yeah? Lo and behold, the fight in Wales got lined up. I see my daughter now. No, you won't. 20-week do 10. I thought, for fuck's sake, I'm back in. Oh, do you know what I mean? So I was with this girl at the time, so I've rang this girl. Right, ring my promoter, this bloke, ring him, please ring him, tell him I'm really sorry, my fucking big chance and I've blown it. Please just tell him whatever show's on next when I get out, just tell him to put me on it. I'll just go on it, yeah? It worked out that it was the week after I got out of prison. What the fuck are you going to do this in jail? Bear in mind, you only get so many gym sessions a week. So my cousin was in there, Ricky Little Child, doing a big stretch. So I had him. I had my old boxing coach. It was my old boxing coach from the gym. He was actual gym officer. Between them both and a load of pad workouts, we had a CD on a DVD player, that Insanity DVD. We got me ready with loads of CrossFit, loads of circuits, running on exercise yard. I got out. I made my debut for him in Coventry in front of 1,500 people, my biggest crowd yet, and I stopped the kid in 30 seconds and broke his ribs. And I've been out a week in jail. I've done all my training in jail, basically.
Yeah. So what did a daily routine look like for you when you were in jail and you were fully mindset on that fight?
Because it was weird, because I only had 10 weeks to do. They didn't really want to give me any jobs, because by the time I got a job, I was out. So they just sort of left me on the wing. But my cousin Ricky managed to get me on the enhanced wing, even though I wasn't enhanced. So there was one exercise bike, but you could do what you wanted on the wing all day. So I just shadow boxed, Insanity DVD, exercise bike. Any gym circuits I got, it was CrossFit, running on the exercise yard. I don't know how the fuck I did it, but I got mentally fit. I become obsessed because I had nothing else to prove except for that. And I got out, and lo and behold, like I said, I've done a good job with him, and he was a really good kid as well.
So that's quite a big crowd for Knuckle, is it 1,500 people?
Back then, yeah, of course, it was my biggest, back then, 100%,
Yeah. And what was kind of like the mindset when you were, I suppose, like you said, just trapped in prison for 10 weeks with only that goal? Was it just full focus on that?
I
nothing
got
else
to the
mattered?
thing and absolutely shit myself. There was 1,500 people. I was only used to about 100 people at wing. I fucking shit myself. Like, I'm thinking, oh my fucking God, and all this lot, and I'm getting warmed up, and I'm throwing punches, and I'm missing the pads and stuff, do you know? Rolling pad up, and I'm missing it, and I'm thinking, oh, well, if I'm missing the pad, I'm going to miss his fucking face, I'm going to go, oh, and all this lot. And I remember walking in, and I had a track, 50 cent, I get money, I don't know if you know it, it's a 50 cent track. And I'm waiting, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm here, I'm going to do this, what I'm going to do, and that song come on, I thought, that's why I'm here. I'm all right now. Get me in that fucking ring. And I just ended up going from panicking to fucking boiling, fuming, wanting to destroy within seconds.
And you got the win there, and this is where you met. Was that the same fight that you met Sean?
Yes. Yeah, I met Sean there. Sean was reffing the fight.
Okay. So, obviously, Sean took you under his wing as well after that fight. Is that right?
Yeah.
So what kind of impact has Sean had on your life? And suppose give a little bit of background of who Sean is as well.
Sean Smith is the UK's scariest debt collector. He collects debts that nobody else wants to collect, all legal debts. He's the person that, if you cannot get a debt collected, he will fucking collect that debt, simple as. Yeah, and not dodgily, not thinking he'll get your debt, simple as.
Yeah. So if anyone doesn't know, they might have seen the clip that went around social media for a long time, and it was a guy had been selling steroids, I think, in this guy's gym, and it was Sean in there, and Sean's give him a slap and it went totally viral. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
kind of...
that's Sean.
Yeah, that's Sean. Yeah.
So basically, I fucking had a break up with my girlfriend and she took me out. It was snowing. I had a pair of shorts on and a fucking hoodie. I was fucking stood in a porch with a fucking next door neighbour's garden. I rang Sean. Sean jumped in it was snowing, it was fucking bad snow. Sean was in his caravan in Wales. Sean jumped in his minibus, drove from Wales to York, got me, and took me, fed me, put a roof over my head, trained me for a world title, and I knocked the kid out in 2 rounds. The man's a fucking legend.
Yeah, yeah. And he obviously helped you so much, but like, did he also help with that sort of like mindset of just getting your head straight? Because obviously you've been up and down for years.
Destroy, kill, or be killed.
And he helped to really focus that.
And he is a man that always will bring that side out of me. He does something to me that no disrespect to all your coaches out there, because you all do a fucking good job, but he just brings out that thing. I can't even explain what it is, but...
So was his training style different to what you'd done before, or was it just more intense, or was it more just like, say, unlocking the mental side?
It's fucking mental. Like, he will quite happily go on pads with you, and then we start going into it, and next thing you're getting an elbow across your nose, an headbutt. He'll put a sparring pad on, and he'll put like no gloves on, and I'll have gloves on, and next thing you're fucking half cross ring twisted up. It's a fight. He trained you for a fight. It's, bare knuckles fighting. You go there to destroy, and that's basically what he does. He gets you mad fit, old school style of training with a little Sean Smith twist on it, and it is just violence, destroy. And I took to it like a fucking duck to water.
Yeah. So he helped just kind of open that side up to you.
The other side, that next level again.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, that led to you winning your first world title in bare knuckle
Second,
boxing.
it was.
Second, okay,
Second, yeah.
So talk me through the world titles, mate. How did them fights go? How did that happen?
So first one, it went a bit quiet for me. They were struggling to match me. I was quite hard to match at first. I'd gone over to Sean.
Why were you quite hard to match?
There'd been a big breakup between 2 companies. Sean and Amanda went their own way, and this other team went their way. I got out of jail. I had to make that choice. I went straight away to Sean. So it was just hard to make that match, because you think I've been on a decent level for this company, and then there's been like these new kids that just want to have a go, and I'm a decent level. It was getting to the point where I turned up to shows and they're saying, "Oh, well, we've only got one everywhere." I'm saying, "Just get me him, then I'll fight him." I was 13 stone, 17 stone. He is, "Do you want to fight him?" I'll fight him. And 17 stone man's pulling out. Do you know, like, saying, "Oh, fuck, that's too experienced for me." And they're saying, "Yeah, but you've got all the weight, you've got the power." No, I don't want to fight him. It was getting to the point. So then I started getting bored, started partying, started taking drugs, and I got stabbed good and proper in a bit of an altercation. Ended up 8 or 9 times stabbed. Ended up fucking hell, like big lump of blue hanging out my gut, guts hanging out me, and this and all that lot. And I remember coming out of intensive care, and everyone was all. I think more people were more pissed off with me that I'd let myself go to that level to start being a cunt to sort of.
No, you go for it.
To actually get that, to go to that level, to get stabbed, go stoop that low. Do you know, like, fucking hell, Luke, like, fuck, you've gone from, like, up there to having a fight with someone over fucking drugs and getting stabbed, you stupid cunt. Like, no one wanted to bother me, and I get it. My mum and dad disowned me for a bit, didn't give a fuck about it, didn't care, didn't want to, didn't want to know. They'd had enough. So, and I was down and out as well, I didn't have nothing, no one, I'd just got a job, and I got the call off Amanda Smith, and I think the only reason I really got the call is because I've been waiting that long for this fight, and they probably just wanted to give me the choice. I still had stitches in my belly button when I said yeah. And I started training for it. I brought Gaz Walker on board, everyone knows mostly from York, and Andy Wilby. And they started training me. Gaz Walker basically saved my fucking life. He started taking me to church and stuff, and it's really sorted my head out, believe it or not. I don't know how, but it did. Put me in a really good place. Made me train hard. I was working, really good routine, everything else. And it come to fight night, and they all thought he was going to knock me out. Andy Roberts is called. And listen, Andy Roberts is a fucking very tough man. I'll tell him now if he was sat here. If someone said to me now, do you want a rematch with Andy Roberts? I say, no, thank you. I've done what I've done. I'm all right. Do you know what I mean? I've got nothing to prove. I've proven. I'm all right, thanks. I'd rather not fight. Do you know what I mean? I've done what I've done. And he'd probably say, yeah, he's an hard man. Do you know what I mean? But on that night, I broke his forearm with a shot that he tried blocking, and I knocked him out in 2 rounds. First world title. Yeah. Second world title went from streets, basically having fuck all, to winning a world title.
Who did you fight for the second?
Don Clark.
Okay, and this is the guy who was the Bellator guy. He fought at Bellator, so obviously at an incredible level to be a Bellator fighter.
Obviously, Bellator, it's on TV and stuff. Yeah. And when I said it's Bellator, I thought, fuck, don't get no fucking easy fights, me, do I? Yeah, Bellator kid, very good. Still a good friend of mine now.
So you've got your 2 world titles there.
I thought it was fucking invincible.
Yeah.
I thought there was no one to touch me on this planet in the bare knuckle game. I quickly learned on the rematch with Dom that I fucking can, and I got my fucking head punched off. I ended up with 2 fractured eye sockets, a broken cheekbone, broken nose, and 2 broken ribs in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
4 minutes of work.
Yeah. And there was no third fight after that then? You won 1 each?
We've spoke, but I don't think
happened.
It's never happened. I don't think it will.
No. So obviously you've done that. You had your 2 world titles. You obviously lost the rematch to Dom. Where were you then in the journey of bare knuckle? Was it almost time to kind of step away from it, or?
I thought we're done. Yeah. I thought we're done. I was sort of done before I got in there. I thought, because I wanted to be a champion. I told my dad I'd be a champion. I would not once but twice to become a champion.
Did your dad ever come watch you in the bare knuckle?
Yeah, when I got my ass handed to me by Dom.
Yeah.
So I'll never go and watch you again.
Yeah.
There was Kel Brook there, Kel Brook, he was all there. He was coming with him like that in children. I was thinking, what the fuck have I just seen? It was mental. I got my fucking head punched to bits. The first punch he threw, done the eye socket, I went blind. I still need surgery this one. I went dark in it, and I thought, right, so I'm moving. I'm thinking, you've got about 15 seconds to knock him out. After about 5, I thought, you fucked, Luke. Just ride it out till you get knocked out. You're done there. Simple as. And lo and behold, they put me in my ass, and it got stopped.
Yeah.
So done me good.
So you were kind of like took a little step away, kind of led the quiet life for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. We had a kid to one of my ex, baby boy Carter, and then that didn't work out for me. We just things, she's my son's mum. I won't say too much. We just didn't see eye to eye. Things went our separate ways, and then.
But for a while, you were living that dad life and.
Dad life, yeah. A fat, out of shape dad life, going to the park and doing all night fees. I wouldn't take that club. Doing night fees, shitting happy. It was good. But I'll tell you, I'm going to be dead honest with you. Like, I can remember Sean saying, well done, I'm so happy for you, blah, blah, And I can remember thinking, and I'm thinking, fucking boring now.
You missed that drive.
I miss that thing. I love my kids to bits, but it's just that fight, the camp, the discipline, the hype, the adrenaline. It's something I do eventually need to learn to call it. I'm getting an old man in that game now, but I missed it, so I went back to it. I had a fight against a kid called what's his name? A good kid anyway, but Tyson Fury's sparring partner.
Ty Mitchell.
Yeah. That's the one. I had a gloved fight against him, got my ass handed to me. Didn't know who he was, just got offered. They just said, listen, no one will fight him. We'll give you $1,000 just to turn up and fight him. I can't find no one to fight him, just turn up. Don't sell no ticket, just fight him. I thought, $1,000, 100%, I'll fight anyone. I'm going, I'm there. Where did you want me? And that was at Derby County Football Ground. Beautiful setup. Got in there. He just beat me up for 4 rounds and he closed my eye. Doctor stopped it. I started coming back in last round, but I'd been beaten up, simple as. And Ty, I'd give him his due coming after he said, you are one fucking tough kid, like I threw everything at you. And you turned it around when he started slinging back, I was thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go, he's coming back now. And the doctor stopped it. I was down depressed. And then a good mate of mine sent me a screenshot, and it was a Twitter thing on Tyson Fury saying, your toughest sparring partner. And it said Ty Mitchell. Well, it's not so bad done, do you know?
Yeah.
And then eventually found out that his Dillian White's sparring partner, he's put Tony Bellew's ribs. And he's a talented kid.
Top level.
Yeah,
top,
top, world level.
Yeah.
From there, then I seen another one. Might come up on my Instagram. Ty Mitchell mentioned him. I thought, easiest fight. He would have said, you know, if I thought, who's your easiest opponent? I thought Luke Atkin. I thought, fucking nice one. Who was your toughest opponent? Luke Atkin. Thought that'll do. You know, I might have been a punch bag, but you know, I must have been a decent punch bag. Yeah. you know, against a good top level world kid. You know, that he's world level Ty.
Again, do you ever kind of like sit back and kind of like think, you know, what if? Because obviously you're mixing it with these guys who are top level. Yeah,
100%. And you know what? I wish, if it's a good job I don't think too much what if, because I make me seem really fucking ill and depressed, because I know I would have lived a totally different life what I'm living now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I do now? I work on demolition. I smash it to bits because that's all I fucking know, because I'm a thick bastard, basically. I can't add up. I'm not very good with my reading. My daughter's fucking braining them already. She's fucking 8-year-old. She teaches me. You know, but on demolition, go smash that up and do that all day. Not a problem. Sledgehammer, and I'll go wreck it. And that's all I do. And I fight. That's all I do. So,
but fighting was, like you say, fighting was the main goal for you from being 5 years old. It's kind of all you've really known.
100%. Yeah. That's all. Yeah, that's all I still do know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to introduce other stuff now because I know it's coming to the end of my career. But I still have a few good fights in me. Yeah. Like I say, I got offered to fight abroad. That's not happened. That was in King of the Streets. If anyone's not familiar with King of the Streets, it's just basically a fucking street fight. In like Norway, Sweden area. Usually a football hooligan that'll fight you. Just struggling to match. I've shown you the message on the Stuart. They're struggling to match me. Eventually that'll come up and I will take it. Yeah. Because it's just something I want to do, and I've got that fire in my belly for that. And I've got unfinished business with Disco Dave Lowe's. So
you fought Dave, a guy called Disco Dave before. You didn't really go into that fight at the very best version of yourself.
Yeah, listen, I'm never going to take anything away from Dave. Dave is a fucking really good lad, and he's a very good, talented fighter. But I'd say mentally, no.
No.
Mentally,
why was that?
I could throw hundreds of excuses out. Let's just say it was my first Christmas away from my kids. I was living in Warrington, moved up to Warrington with my girlfriend, and I decided to do a lot more overtime in my job to pay for him a good Christmas when I could have been in gym, and I still trained. It's not like I didn't train as well. I still trained. Yeah. And I burnt myself out. Yeah. Physically, I mentally fucking burnt myself out. So
you got the rematch against Dave in November this year?
November 19th.
November 19th. So what needs to be in place in your life to bring the best version of Luke Atkin to the ring?
I think just a good camp, a decent camp, with plenty of sparring, but with plenty of, I'll always have Sean. Sean's always going to be, Sean's giving my motivation, my mind. He always gets me fired up within seconds. But I feel like I do, maybe just go back to what's worked in the past for me.
Yeah.
York-based fighters, my strength stuff with yourself, Carl Stannard, Ricky with my CrossFit, Sean when I'm up in Warrington, sparring at Stephen Melton's gym, TSM. Mix all them into one. You've got a proper camp then. Then you've got a proper opponent. Yeah. Then you are going to see the best of me. And if you do beat me then, that's off to you, mate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you got the rematch with Disco Dave November 19th. So when does camp really start for you? Is that something that you're going to start?
It's just started now. Yeah. So I went to Beaver, lifted a load of weights, tried to look good for my pictures. So I've just started doing all my CrossFit now. just started getting into it. Ricky's sending me, so many times a week a challenge, and I do it. Send him a time. He'll keep hold of that time. Then we'll try beat that time.
Yeah.
Just slowly going away from a weightlifter into this is not wrong with weightlifting, but just a different form of it.
Yeah.
CrossFit and boxing.
A little bit more specific for what you actually need to be.
Explosive,
Yeah.
Our high intensity explosive work.
Yeah.
Do you know exactly what I need for that fight?
So I think obviously like in this hour that we've been having this conversation, you can see like your mentality when it comes to training is rock solid, and once your head's in the game, you're fully focused on it. But what about the other things that go alongside that, like your nutrition? Is that something that you take much notice of, or I suppose you don't have to? Do you have to make weights in these fights?
The fight's agreed at 14 stone.
Okay.
I'm 14.3 now. I need what the fuck I want. So what I'm going to do now, what I'll do is basically clean it up so I've got good energy, like good clean fuel in my body, but eat as much as I want because I'm always going to be able to make weight.
Yeah.
Always,
Yeah. So obviously, like I say, you got this fight with Disco Dave. How long do you think you can realistically keep doing this for? How old are you now?
35. I said I stopped when I was 35.
Yeah.
I reckon this is probably... Dave said to me, and Dave will agree, and I'll agree with Dave. Dave said to me, if you beat me, will you promise me a rematch? I said, yeah. And I will. But if you don't, I retire. If I do, we have the rematch, I retire. Dave said the same thing, I retire. So either 1 or 2 fights, I call it a day, I walk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I say, I've done what I've needed to do. I've proved everything I need to prove, and more. So if I'd have beat Dave this time, I would have retired. But then you think, I can't leave it on a loss.
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business.
Absolutely. So lessons from boxing. You will have taken lots of lessons through the toughness of the training and obviously getting in there and facing opponents much bigger than you. What is the biggest lesson that you can take away from the bare knuckle game and implement into real life?
No stone unturned. Do not ever skip anything or take a shortcut on anything. There's no worse a feeling than walking in that ring thinking, I wish I'd have just done that the other day. Or why didn't I do that in my training? Because straight away then you think you've lost. So you go in, you do everything what is possible, absolutely everything and anything. By all means possible, you get this win. And then when you walk in there, you're never going to doubt yourself. You just walk in. Have I done it? You walk in and you're just floating. Because there's nothing else you could have done. If you get beat, that man is a fucking legend. That man is unreal because I know when I'm at my best, it does take world level to beat me. So he must be world level because I am when I'm at my best. So that's what I do basically, just leave no stone unturned.
And you can take that sort of mentality into just everything
life
you're doing.
Itself.
100%,
Why shortcut anything?
Yeah.
Why shortcut anything? Because eventually it only leads you back to square one.
Yeah.
Take the long route, take the hard route, because then eventually you learn these little lessons in life that you wouldn't learn if you just fucked it off and took a shortcut.
Yeah.
You learn little about yourself, you learn to be more patient about stuff. Patience is the key. Patience and timing is fucking everything in life. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, yeah. So if you go back to day one, you walk into that gym for the first time and you look through your whole career, what would you do differently? I know I've obviously spoke about like things outside the ring, but was there things within boxing that you would have done differently?
Stayed in more. Stayed in and listened to my dad.
Yeah.
Stayed in and listened to that old fucker. That old fucker that was fucking, that used to do my head in. I think, you fucking shut. We'd sit up for hours and hours just talking about boxing. He'd get videos out. I think, fucking no again. Actually, listen to him. Because that old man had, intentions for me that would have changed my life, his life, would have given me a life away from all the bullshit what I've been through in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
Took more just listen to that old man.
Cool. So what about next for you? Like you say, obviously you're a fight or two away from retirement. I I mean, look, I think you've definitely got a book in you. You know, like it's an interesting, you know, interesting, controversial, extraordinary life that you've led, mate. You know, but you know, he's certainly, you know, something that I think a story that you can share because, like you say, you've been through everything from the criminal world to the drug addictions to ending up winning world championships and like you say, coming out the other side. So, you know, super interesting conversation, this, mate. Do you have any sort of desire to continue in the bare knuckle game or the boxing game, as in like coaching or anything like that, taking on potential younger fighters and helping them on their journey?
Yeah, but always I'd love to help people that have either come out of jail.
Yeah.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Drug addiction.
Yeah.
Or some sort of problems at home.
Yeah.
They're the people that want out.
Yeah.
Because I've done it all myself.
Yeah.
I've come out of the side.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on paper, I'm a primary schizophrenic with split personality disorder.
Yeah.
Don't take no tablets for it.
No.
Should do. Don't though. Just because I've learned how to battle it. Some
Yeah.
days I will fucking want to pull my own hair out, put my head through that fucking wall, but I get through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I ain't trying to say that you don't take tablets. You should listen, but I just want to help them sort of thing.
Yeah. And how would you go about helping them through, like getting into training and boxing and stuff like that?
You know,
yeah.
counselling side of things. I've been there, I've done it. You know, I can relate to a lot of things. Don't do what I've ever done. I wish if I'd have done it this way, it'd have been different. You know, like all that shit. You know, I can always relate to somebody's story one way or another. Yeah, definitely.
I think you definitely certainly make an excellent speaker when it goes in, you know, going into prisons or young offenders and stuff like this, and actually again sharing this story, mate. And so kind of like say if you can help one or two kids kind of straighten things out a little bit and put a different perspective on things. That'd be a massive success for you.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's what if I was going to do anything like that, that's the road.
Yeah.
100%.
Cool. Well, look, mate, we're going to leave it there. I really appreciate you taking the time out, mate, to come and have a chat with me. I hope you've enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed that conversation. It's great to see that no matter all the adversity and the mistakes and everything like that you've done through your life, you've come out the other side, mate, stronger, more focused forever than ever. Best of luck, mate, with the fight against Disco
much.
Dave. Hopefully, you know, you get the win and then you have to have that rematch and go riding off to the sunset after that, mate. So
just chill out and go play fucking golf.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, buddy. Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you
Ta.
very much.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Thanks so much for listening. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. And if you need any more information on the Mansformation Programme, just hit the link below.